that never been to jail and never gotten in any trouble with the law, but they talk as if their life is opposite of that. Like, those are federal employees.
Well, I'm saying, like, God, man, why is your homeboy so close to you when you come out of that? Look like you.
Katt Williams is back exposing the industry for filth again, and this time he's coming for Meek Mill and Usher for refusing to testify in court even though they have concrete proof of what Diddy did. It turns out that the prosecutors actually reached out to a couple of celebrities, including Kid Cudi, Meek, and Usher, to come to court and testify, but only QE accepted to do it. Meek and Usher didn't even bother responding even though they were name-dropped in multiple lawsuits as participants of those. Freakoff's Usher has allegedly been getting bent by Diddy since he was just 14, so if anyone knows about Diddy's shenanigans, it's him. In fact, right after Diddy's arrest, Usher refused to disassociate himself from Diddy and even went to visit Russell Wilson, who we all know ran off to Thailand once he was slapped with SA lawsuits, and Thailand doesn't have any treaty with the US, so he was able to successfully escape his crimes, and he hasn't moved back ever since. Now, for those of y'all wondering why Usher is so loyal to Diddy and his dirty, creepy associates, well, it's because he was to thinking that they are his saviors, and now he is actively trying to protect them. You see, when Usher was just 14, L.A. Reid irresponsibly handed him over to Diddy to be mentored in his infamous Puffy Flavor camp, where he was mentoring a bunch of UPenn coming artists, including Lil Kim, Mary J. Blige, etc., into becoming well-rounded artists. In order for Usher to be a part of this mentorship program, he moved from his parents' house all the way to New York to live with Diddy. And in case you're wondering, he lived at the same house that Diddy was having all these parties, so he saw all those freak-offs happen at just 14, y'all.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
What's even more shocking is that when he was asked if he would ever allow any of his kids to go to this so-called mentoring camp, he said no.
Dad, now, would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Of course, he said no. He knows very well a 14-year-old has no business seeing and indulging in the things that he saw at Diddy's house. That's why he wouldn't consider the idea of his own kids ever being around Diddy, even if it's just for mentorship. Back in 2005, when Usher was getting interviewed for his Essence magazine cover, the team behind the interview revealed that he had no problem answering any other questions. But as soon as they asked him about the wild things that were happening at Diddy's house, he got really nervous and said he didn't want to talk about it, but if he ever did, he would put it in a book. I want to save some things for my book one day. I'll put it this way, there was a lot of us. Now, if you thought all this was crazy, then wait till you hear about what Diddy's ex-bodyguard Gene D also had to say, because baby, it only gets worse from here. Gene has been spilling the tea about the diddler even before the rest of us caught on, but recently he shifted his attention to dragging Usher for protecting Diddy, and he has been going in on him. During an interview with The Art of Dialogue, he went into details about the things he saw Diddy doing with Usher. He also said Mace and Usher know more about Diddy than they are letting on.
I remember you told me a while ago that, Mace, he used to live with Diddy, and he know a lot of stuff about Diddy that a lot of people don't know.
Man, it's a lot of stuff that Mace and Usher know that they ain't telling about Diddy. There's a lot of stuff that they know. Can you imagine, bruh? Can you really imagine?
What you mean by Usher?
Usher used to stay with Diddy too.
According to Gene, Diddy was doing crazy things with Usher, and at one point they had to rush Usher to the hospital. He even went as far as name-dropping the exact hospital Usher was rushed to. Gene didn't specify exactly what Diddy did to Usher that led to him being admitted to the hospital, but people believe it has something to do with Diddy giving Usher an STD. If y'all remember an email from one of the publishers who was helping write Kim Porter's book before she died got leaked online, and according to the publisher, Kim's book went into detail about how Diddy used to get intimate with Usher and even infected him with an STD. The email read, some of the things in the book cover Diddy's gay relationships, footage of those encounters, the men he slept with, STDs, Diddy giving Usher an STD, and the explosive encounter between Diddy and Usher's mom.
And Usher did have a situation, And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. Let Usher mama explain that too. And the hospital was in Scarsdale, New York.
But Gene wasn't done with Usher just yet. He also put him on blast for not speaking up against Diddy and allowing him to get away with the things that he has done despite knowing the kind of person Diddy is. He said he acknowledges the fact that Usher is a victim, but he doesn't respect the fact that Usher has decided to remain silent when he can easily go to the police and tell them everything he knows.
You say a man that Jew, you gonna give him a pass. Bro, you know I know. You know, and a lot of more people know. Didn't do you right. When you was at Diddy camp. Y'all put it together.
And what you mean by Diddy camp?
Remember? He was on one of the talk shows. The white guy with the curly hair. What's his name? The white guy with the curly hair. And he said, yo, would you send your son to Diddy camp? And Usher said, no. Ask him why he won't send him to Diddy camp. But yet still...
But it isn't just Usher who has info on Diddy and has decided to keep his mouth shut. Meek Mill is also another person. Katt Williams went on for refusing to work with the feds because he'll probably end up incriminating himself to along the line. In fact, a few months ago when 50 was going off on Christian Combs for throwing shade at him over him talking about his daddy Diddy and always trolling Diddy on his Instagram. Meek threw himself in the mix out of nowhere and started accusing 50 of being a snitch who's working with the feds to throw black men in jail. He made several tweets that said, because you federal the street iggas and queens know that why you trying to pick on a little boy your own son hate your guts. LOL, I'm so grateful to be on an island with my son and his friends on his birthday. Don't follow these guys, they miserable lives. Be terrible, they paying to tear IGA down. I never seen black people laugh at black people getting indicted. He really be online enhancing people cases. And he got real statements against you ain't feed Mike Knox yet everybody onto you. And as you can already guess, 50 didn't let this slide. And he wasted no time in bringing up those boy toy allegations. He said, you sold 6K copies on your last project. You should not be on vacation still. Chasing the dream or embracing the nightmare, standing by your man. That I respect. 50 also posted this humiliating video of Meek singing a love song to Diddy at a party with the caption, I commend you for being a strong, supportive woman for your man. Meek, stay by his side, and together you guys may have a good life. God bless. Meek Mill was better off keeping himself out of this, especially since there are receipts of him being Diddy's boy toy, but he still inserted himself and ended up digging up things that people were already giving him a hard time for. For example, an audio tape leaked not too long ago of Meek getting his cheeks absolutely destroyed by Diddy, and apparently this audio was recorded by Diddy's ex-bodyguard during a freak-off party.
Champagne was spiked, son. Like, all the champagne was spiked. Everybody was passed the f*** out. I don't drink, so I was playing that off like, I don't drink. I smoke. Like, I smoke and I had my own, but like, everybody was passed out. Yo, Diddy had that man in the room. Look, yes, I put my ear to the door and I brought the phone because Diddy started going in overdrive. I ain't know what the was going on, but I just heard balls slapping against cheeks. I heard struggling to take. I heard being like, hey, daddy, like when he started all that daddy this and daddy that, and then I heard some hollering and struggling, like, yeah, I kept the phone there and I recorded all this shit because I was like, this.
Interview 8:59/9:49. This mess got a lot of people talking, and they brought up some things that Meek had been involved in that seemed to confirm that Diddy really had those cheeks collapsing. One of those things was this video of him cooling off in the pool while having his back slightly bent in the pool, as if he was experiencing some pain down there. In the same video, Diddy could be heard congratulating Meek for putting in that work. I don't know what work he was talking about, but people believe that was a code word for freak off.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. Putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
And as if all this wasn't incriminating enough, he was also caught following a gay page on Twitter that exclusively posts videos of black gay men hounding each other. But It didn't stop there, y'all. There was also an old song that Meek recorded a while ago confessing to doing some unspeakable things Diddy also leaked online, and this also went super viral, and as we know, Katt isn't a fan of Diddy either, so you can rest assured that he was giving Meek and Usher a major side eye when he found out they were refusing to work with the feds to lock Diddy up. According to sources, Katt isn't here for Meek and Usher staying quiet, and he wants them to work with the feds instead of staying quiet about what they know. Word on the street is Katt feels like the reason Meek and Usher are quiet is because they know they'll end up snitching on themselves, and that's the real reason they're not saying anything. In the meantime, people have their own thoughts, like this person who said the effed up part is Usher had legal guardianship of Justin, and even though he knew what it was like with Diddy, had been through it also, he still decided to send him over to Diddy anyways. Would he have sent his own kids? Nope. So why another kid that you have legal guardianship over? Another person said, hey, the pool scene where Meek looked sore ass out in the air and Diddy was talking to him saying, you earned that, daddy. Yeah, you did that, daddy. Yeah, this for you, daddy. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think about Diddy being protected by Usher and Meek Mill? And do y'all agree with what Katt's saying about them not talking because they will also go down with Diddy? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.